America, it's time to get very serious.
I don't think so. The Six Flags Great Adventure has big theme park fun right now. Summer's almost over, so come out today and get into brand new thrills like Skull Mountain and the Lethal Weapon Water Stunt Spectacular. Ride heart-pounding rides, water adventures, and take a wild safari. Hurry, don't let summer pass you by. Six Flags Great Adventure Theme Park. Big fun right now. Get these great savings with coupons for participating blockbusters.
Hey, Skull Mountain.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to episode 8 of Some Great Adventures, the podcast where old friends who met and worked for a significant amount of time at Six Flags Great Adventure in Jackson, New Jersey, chat about their time at the park. I am Steve Hicks, and my co-hosts are
Scott Loudon,
Chris Peluso,
Andy Auletti. How you doing?
Hey, buddy. Our podcast continues to be possible by our friends at the Shared Universe Podcast Studio. Please look them up for all of your podcasting needs. We're also recording via Facebook Live, so the video will be available on our Facebook page. On today's episode, I'm also going to be sharing a bunch of photos of the park. So for anyone listening to the audio-only version, we will be uploading them to the Facebook page sometime this week, so you could always follow along there if you'd like to. So, fellas, we all left rides around 1996 and the park pretty soon after there for most of us, 97, 98. Peluso, I think you were the holdout. You held out a little bit longer. But basically, we all kind of bailed like 25 years ago. So I've only gone back to the park 3 times in 25 years. I went back the first time in 2008. So I had already missed 11 years of changes of the park. And that was actually as a mini Western reunion with that man right there to my right, Andy Auletti. We were there with a bunch of Western folks there. Actually, Billy Zumsteg just posted a picture of that on his Facebook page. And I was like, wow, that's my first time going back after 11 years. That's crazy. I went back 2 other times after that. So I went back in 2008 with Andy. I went back again in 2012. And then I went back again a couple weeks ago. And that's it, 3 times in 25 years. What about you guys? How many times have you actually gone back, and when's the last time you've gone back? Scott, go ahead.
I think I didn't go back since 1997 until my daughter was like 4 or 5. So that would have been like 2010.
Okay.
And I went back a few times that season and the season after, but I don't really remember much. I was just chasing her around for the most part, so I wasn't really paying attention to everything else going on. But yeah, that's it.
You have a unique thing though, because you have a kid. So you went back basically more because it's a place to take your kid. Now, do you still go back? Like, do you, your wife, and your kids still go back now? Or is it like you went back when she was young and then that phased out and that's it? Like you don't really go back?
Well, we didn't go back for a while after that because my daughter decided that she didn't like roller coasters or any big rides. So there's no reason to go to Great Adventure if you're not going to do that stuff. But now that she's in the big rides, now we may actually start going again in the near future. We'll see. But yeah.
How about you, Chris?
I think I went about 20 years ago. And it was like 5 years after, being, separated from the park. Want to say around then, barely remember anything. But I did go back 3 or 4 years ago, I think twice in 25 years. And until you said it, Steve, I can't believe I've only been back twice in 25 years, over 20 years, essentially. I can't believe it.
I felt the same way, dude. Like when I went last month and I actually looked back to see like when else I went, I realized same thing. I'm like, how the fuck did I only go back? Like, how do you work at a place every single day of your life for like 13 years? And then you're just like, I don't need to go back.
Well, I'll tell you, one thing I did realize going back after all that time was waiting in queue lines is really not fun.
Yep. That's actually, it's really funny. It's one of the reasons why I didn't like going back because like, even when we went back in 2008, we still had friends that were still there. So we were basically going up the exit of all the rides. You know what I mean? Like even when me and Andy went back that one time, we didn't have to wait on lines unless we wanted to. Like and that's pre fast pass crap. That's when, basically you were just like, hey, how you doing? And this person's like, oh yeah, I remember you. Come on up the exit. And that was it, And now it's exactly it. Like, I mean, we had to buy the fast pass when we went back because I'm not going to wait in those lines. And then to be honest, on top of it, it's also a COVID situation where their lines are still just standard queue lines. So you're all packed in there like sardines right now. And I was like, nah, I don't want to do that,
No. I didn't go on any rides when I went back either. I went with a games crew to reminisce. We didn't go on one ride. I think it was like $45, $50 to just kind of walk around and reminisce and look at old games and what's there, what's not there.
Did you at least walk out with a big fucking Tweety? I mean, something.
Oh, no. I didn't say I played any games. Just kind of looked at the game.
Crazy. What about you, Andy? When's I mean, you're not even near us anymore, so I'm assuming you probably.
The last time I went was in 2008 with you, and shortly after that's when I moved out of state. So I haven't been back there since. I went a couple times in the early 2000s, maybe 2005, 2006 when my daughter was little. And other than that, maybe 3-4 times since I had stopped working there. It's funny, I went there a lot more before I started working there than since.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I mean, it's funny. It's like, it is so weird though that none of us and even now, look at this. We have a podcast about how good of a time we had going there. But once we weren't there anymore, I part of me thinks it might be a mentality that all of us kind of reached a level of supervisor level where, you kind of felt like you owned the park a little bit. You walked in, it's like, you knew everything and, no one's really telling you what to do anymore. And you kind of felt like, you're like the fucking head soprano. You know what I mean?
Right.
Well, we had a lot
place is very wired. Like you knew people everywhere.
Over the years too.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, now you go back and you're like, it's like the ending of Goodfellas, it's like, I'm just a fucking schmuck,
Stand in line like a regular schmuck.
Exactly. Too funny. Well, when I went back last month, I took a ton of pictures. And basically I figured I'm going to do it like a walkthrough. So I kind of did pictures and walked through the park. And I told the kids, pick out whatever rides you want, but let's do it as a route so I can kind of hit the whole park. And because I went back with my cousin and my niece and my nephew. And so a lot of pictures. And basically what I did is I compared this year to 1996. So what was in rides in 1996? Because that's really the last year most of us kind of left the rides department. And also it was the most important year in the entire park because the biggest ride in the world was opening Skull Mountain. And we all know how immensely that did for the park. I mean, that ride, woof.
Affectionately known as Skull Bitch. Yeah.
I'll start by saying that most of the rides that we knew are gone. I went back and I counted, and this is major and minor flat rides and major rides. There are only 15 rides still left, and some of those are may not even be the original ride. So they do have a bumper car, but it's definitely not one of the bumper cars from either Fantasy Forest or from over a Movie Town. It's a little bit bigger, so it's definitely a different bumper car. But 15 rides. That's it. That's all it's left of our original rides from 96. And that kind of was both a bummer and it also just made me feel old as fuck because I was like, this park has changed so much and I did not change with it, As we kind of comment, as we do the walkthrough with the photos, I will say that for people on audio, we're going to describe each photo. And then again, you could always go to our Facebook page and kind of follow along there if you want to see what we were looking at. But the one thing I'll say is some of the stuff did bum me out, and I'm going to make it sound like I'm going to be blunt in the walkthrough, but I do want to point out that I haven't been there I haven't been there regularly enough, and either did you guys, to actually know if the changes in the park are because of the park's vision of where they want to be and their direction. And so therefore they changed the merchandise stands, they don't have John Sean there anymore for a Flume photo, or, they don't have t-shirt airbrush barns anymore. All that stuff is kind of gone. And I don't know if that's because it's a different vision for the park and how they want to look and everything, or honestly, if it's just that they were devastated so bad from COVID last year for low attendance that they're still recouping. And so, it's a different place now,
And they filed for bankruptcy a few years back. And I always feel like they had a vision, but then their vision would change like every season.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it changed with every owner. Yeah. Every single time they got bought out. I mean, but that's typical corporate world. Every time you get bought out, you have a different vision. But I mean, I think the problem with them, and we've said this before, is that their vision was they always wanted to be originally they want to be a roller coaster park, and then they wanted to be a Disney variant park where they could compete with Disney. And it's like they never stick with any of those visions, so they never kind of get anywhere, never achieve anything. They might have come close to achieving the roller coaster park, to be honest with you. But if you judge by my visit, fuck them, because half that shit was closed. Literally almost nothing was open. And that was really goddamn disappointing, because it was like, the worst thing is we get the Fast Pass, and the Fast Pass tells you what's open and closed on this little digital thing you get. And it's like, my niece is like, we're like, oh, we're going to go on Superman. Superman's closed. Oh, we're gonna nope, King of Cos closed. And it's like, so you could book it. You could book it there, and then she'd book it, and she'd be like, they just canceled our booking, everything's closed.
So, I wonder if that was
what day of the week did you go? When
Thursday.
When exactly?
A Thursday, and there was no rain. It was absolutely fine. It was a little bit hot, but not hot enough for them to have an excuse to be shutting all that shit down.
Thursday in August.
Thursday in August, and they were clearly not well staffed. They are clearly having staffing problems. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
I'm surprised they didn't go and conscript some of the baboons in the safari and just
you got to do what you got to do.
Stand here and you push this button.
We've seen them work a tower,
Right. We've definitely seen them at Spillway and Shoot a Log Flume too, operating up there. So
very steady. Very steady.
All right. Well, I'm gonna share my screen here. I'm gonna see if I can do this properly. You guys tell me, are we at you guys can see my my first photo?
Oh, yep. There it is.
We got it. All right. So we're going in order. We we drive up and we pay our, let's see, can you guys see it when I expand it?
25.
Oh yeah.
All right, I'll be honest. $25 is fine. $25 is nothing, but it cracked me up because they do the general parking. They really do put you kind of far from the entrance as opposed to the preferred parking. I kind of got a giggle out of that. But whatever,
$50 to park. That's it.
$50
to park.
So
$50. Is that basically a lot?
No. So here's the funny part. So here, all right. So now we're on the next piece. Okay, they parked us here, and if you guys work there, you know exactly where we are. Okay. Now the joke is over to the left. Okay. This is where they were basically parking everybody else, which is not much closer for $50 for double the price, and it was not packed. When we left, there were about almost the same amount of cars as when we got there, and we got there at opening. It was not packed at all. So I was kind of like, well, that's a scam that they're pulling that on days like this. It's like, whatever, but all right. Now this cracked me up. So we're greeted by the GA Bush. Now, before we even get into this sign, the GA Bush is so disappointing now because it's blocked off. And if you guys remember, this used to always say like GA or Six Flags or something in the bushes. And this used to be when I was a kid before I worked in the park. And even in my first year when I didn't have a license and I had to get picked up and dropped off, and I was playing in the park at night, so I didn't always make my mom go through the employee entrance. This was our bush. Like you would get dropped off here and cars would drive around it. It used to be able to drive, the parents could drop you off, circle, and pull back out.
Yeah, it's where you wait to get picked up.
Everybody.
Landmark.
Yep, this is now it does not say any of that. It looks kind of crappy, and you can no longer drive around it. It's got queue lines built in there, so that kind of bummed me the hell out.
What are the queue lines doing there? Like, what do they do? They're routing people up.
This is basically because I think of COVID. They were doing all types of security crap over here. For us, none of this mattered. We just walked straight through. It really didn't matter. But I will point out, this kind of cracked me up. These signs are throughout the park, and apparently this must be a big problem for them. And even I guess it's going to be even more since New Jersey legalized. But these signs are effing everywhere, man. And let me tell you, from being in only a couple queue lines where I actually had to wait, it's not stopping anything. So,
I was just gonna say,
it's no way. Goddamn thing. My nephew's like, what is that smell? And my niece is like, how do you not know what that smell is at our age? I was like dying. So, but
I found some premium product in the queue line sweeping up one or two times in my day.
Many a times. We mean 1 or 2 times, many a times. All right, so we get to our typical entrance, which we all know, and I was like, all right, this feels like old Great Adventure.
Yeah, that's fairly similar, right?
But clearly they got no work crew because this shit
They got
is
to get
green.
back on those copper roofs.
It's not only green. A lot of the stuff is kind of falling apart on the buildings, and these points up here on a couple of the buildings are actually like hanging off. Like the maintenance is kind of not happening right now. It's a little surprising.
Well, I was going to say it's similar in a good and bad way. Like it doesn't look like it's been renovated since.
It is funny. You nailed it on the head. I actually made the joke myself. Like, wow, nothing's changed at all since I left the park.
Yeah. I mean, it looks like the same front gate. Yeah,
exactly.
Damn.
So we go through, and this is all about the same. Main Street looks the same. The gift shops are all connected now, so like this whole building is on the left is like really just one very long gift shop at this point now. But and the one to the right is really tiny, but nothing really different from when we were there. Guest service is still over to the left. Nothing really changed. Walk up, go straight through the fountain, and we went straight.
Back, I was going to say your view though is immediately different.
Oh my God!
There's a coaster in the view. 100%. Yeah,
this is the Joker coaster. Yeah, the
no
everything
more
as far as you're gonna be in for a lot of disappointments, buddy. Let me tell you, a lot of disappointments as we went
through
the
whole stadium.
It's like they stuck a coaster on Main Street.
Yeah,
it looks like.
Yep. It definitely looks different. Let me tell you. We went straight. So the fast pass is actually right here to the right, which was kind of disappointing. Do you remember there used to be they used to sell, it was a merch stand, and it was, I believe it might have been owned by John Sean. I could be wrong by that, but it's definitely owned by an independent merch one. And it was where they had all the different color sands and the weird Coke bottles, and you take the sand, you make your own bottles.
Yeah.
Coke bottles that were like twisted and
yeah. And then for a while it was also like stone bracelets and stuff. Like they had like different rocks and stuff, and you can make a bracelet there too. That's all gone, and that's where the fast pass is now. You pick up your fast pass right there to the right of this spot. So obviously we went there first to get our fast pass, and then we we see the big wheel. Big wheel. It wasn't open. It was actually going. We got there right at opening, so they let us in early, and rides weren't open yet. So big wheel was running its checks. We actually never even rode it, because of the way we circled the park. By the time we got back, we never even went on it. But they were actually doing maintenance checks, which was kind of like, that's cool. Big wheel at least looks like big wheel, right?
Does.
Yeah.
It's circular in shape still.
Yep. And then we look to the left, and we're like, what the fuck happened to the flying wave?
That's the flying wave on steroids.
That is exactly what I called it. It is the goddamn flying wave on steroids.
It's all grown up.
And Laura, if you're listening, it's actually a legit ride now.
It is a definite legit ride. It is now the Sky Screamer, and you fit 2 people in each seat now, and it actually goes up higher than the big wheel. So at its height, and you can see 2 people per seat, and it swings you around just like normal, but at its height, it is actually higher than the big wheel. Now, here's what I did not like when we got up there. It is the same thin motherfucking chains that you could buy at Home Depot holding your ass up. Now, there is obviously the safety cables in there, but for me, when I rode the flying wave and it wasn't that high, that was a thrill that the chain looked like it was going to break. When I was higher than the big wheel, I did not fucking like that anymore. I was like, holy shit, this is not fun for me now.
Yeah, I don't think I'll be weight testing this one.
Yeah, man. I will say, though, pretty cool ride. I mean, it's cool. I wish they did more of this, and they did not, so don't expect it. But I wish they did more of taking what was a classic ride and, like Scott said, put that fucker on steroids and just improve it. I think that would be awesome. And this was definitely the only one I could see that they did that, but it was pretty cool. It was a surprise. I did not know they did this, and I was like, that's pretty badass. I thought it was kind of neat. We did ride it.
They put them all around. They also put one in here at Six Flags Fiesta, Texas, a couple of years back.
Did you go on it?
Yeah, it was equally as scary. No, I'm not going on that thing.
I did like it. I'm going to say it was pretty cool, man. I didn't go on it again, but I did like it. So All right, so then we move forward and we start the Chris Peluso movie town entrance. Now,
I was there when we were there.
That's the same too.
That is yeah. I mean, it's pretty much the same.
Same yellow.
Yep, they really didn't change very much there. Same plaque and everything. I was kind of impressed by that. Now, one thing I will notice though, look to the right. And Skee Ball Barn clearly has no visual merchandisers anymore, Andy, because all they're putting in is "Please work here." That's all they're putting in the windows now.
Going fast.
I didn't even go inside, but I could tell you right now, it did not look like there was any skee ball in a Skee Ball Barn. Like it looks like it is just a bunch of, basically like when we left, some video games and games of chance, and that was it. There wasn't much in there. So I was like, we'll keep walking. And a lot of this stuff we thought we were going to go back to, but we got there at 10, we got done around 5, and we were done because it was a hot day. And I forgot how much walking around that park on a hot day takes it out of you.
That's a long day.
Yeah. So we didn't go back to a lot of things. Like I did intend to go back and go in here. Never did. Now I will say when you walk through, they have a bunch of these things. So they're weird. Like they're cool. You get in them and you can take a photo and it's kind of neat. But what's weird is whoever did it did not think of making the background very wide. So as you can see, if you crop, you have to crop your arms out because otherwise you have to, who the hell's going to keep their hands inside the car? No one does that, So, but they did have a bunch of these little mini photo op things in here. They had 3 or 4. I only saw them in Movie Town, though, and I'll show you the rest of them, and they're a little weird, but I only saw them here. I didn't see them in the rest of the park, which was kind of bizarre. I don't know if that's maybe because they figure Movie Town photo ops. Not really sure if there was a little...
Is that a used coaster? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yep, that is exactly what it is, which I loved. I was like, oh, I know what this is. I got to get in this thing.
But everything they do, though, it's fun to see that everything they do is still kind of a little second rate. Like they do this in Disney, they do this in Universal. Yep. It doesn't look like this.
And we
now you have a photo on the internet of you with your lap bar up. Right.
Yep. With the lap bar up and our hands hanging like way out like this with the background. Yeah, for sure. Chris, I will say you might be pretty happy the Batmobile is still there. It's still
one of the only things they didn't do second rate. It's one of the few things they've ever done first class.
And someone actually did keep it clean. It looks nice.
I was going to say that thing looks beautiful.
It's really beautiful. Yeah.
Now, here's a funny thing. Look over here. There's another one of those photo ops for Hurricane Harbor. Why? I don't know.
It's so random.
It is all right. So yeah, you're gonna see how random it gets in about a minute, my friend. So, but we'll stick with Batman. So here's the thing. I love my nephew because my nephew is at that age. He's 15, and if he knows that you are interested in something and he takes an interest in, he will actually look it up. And in this world of everything's on the fucking web, he'll know a lot of details instantly. So when we walked in here, the first thing he points out is he's like, none of the fountains work anymore. What happened to the fog machines? What happened to this? What happened to that? And it was like, it bummed me out that someone who had never been on the ride, but had actually done a little bit of like looking into it, saw how far it fell from when it opened up. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a bummer, man. But he still, don't get me wrong, he liked the ride. He did like the ride. Right. But the queue line was not impressive. And he knew all the stuff that should be impressive was gone. And I was like, well, that kind of sucked,
Is it still landscape throughout like that, or just that area?
It's landscape kind of like this. It's okay landscaping. Once you get on the inside, as you can tell, I didn't take a lot of pictures on the inside because to be honest with you, it looks kind of shabbier than we were there. So not much shabbier. Like it's just kind of like it just never really changed. But here's what surprised me. So we have the Fast Pass, and the Fast Pass isn't always the exit. It usually is. Once in a while, they'll make their own little side entrance for the Fast Pass. Chris, where are we going up for the Fast Pass?
Oh,
wow. You're in the back.
Yeah.
No fucking shit.
That's the break room.
That's like where the troops would go.
You walk up the employee entrance to the fucking and go to the inside from there. And I didn't want to take photos on the inside because they were moving us really fast. There was we had no line because the Fast Pass, but we literally come up through that employee area and they just have like a railing to keep you from going into the track area when the trains are coming in.
I was do they take you under the track or do they take you around the track to get there?
No, they take you. It's around. It's around.
Wow.
So, yeah.
Wow.
It was a little bizarre, man. And I was laughing because I was like, I guess the break room's not a break room anymore. All the guests get to watch them go on break. I don't know. This is really fucking weird, though. So,
wow.
and then, you know, that's the kid that keeps me running the 5Ks, by the way. Little fucker keeps beating me every time, too. So
I love it. He's got a Flash shirt on.
He is
too.
the Flash
Great.
compared to my fat ass. He beats me every time. And there's show icon Michael, so old show supervisor. That's it's my cousin. It's Morgan's dad. So
Nice.
as we exited, the Gotham City gift shop is the same. The inside is the same. The theming, the window displays, all the same. I was like, okay, something stayed the same. Now here's something that cracked me up though. Chris, I'm going to ask you, since this is your section, do you remember one cool thing that the Gotham City gift shops had in the sidewalk?
Oh,
And I always, never being a 150 soup, knew this because I always thought it was a really cool thing.
Well, to be honest, though, I thought this was the Warner Brothers store.
It was, but they did change it to Gotham City before.
See, I didn't even know they changed it to Gotham City. I thought it was the Warner Brothers store. Like, that was one of the things I loved. I used to always go in there.
Well, it was a Warner Brothers store when they had Warner Brothers in all the malls, but when they got rid of those, then they changed it back to the theming.
Right,
but since you clearly don't know what I was saying,
no,
they had stars.
Right.
Now, here's what's really funny about the stars. There's a star for Batman the Ride. So I didn't take a picture of that one because that makes sense. That's there, right? It's right in front of Batman the Ride. There's a star for the Great American Scream Machine. Wah, wah. I guess this is kind of like the Hollywood Walk of Fame where the stars stay after you die because it's the Scream Machine, Adventure River.
It's a graveyard.
It's free fall. So it's you nailed it. It is the graveyard.
It's
now.
a graveyard.
All it's got is Batman the Ride and a bunch of dead rides.
It's like the Monument Park at Yankee Stadium or something.
At least I get the other ones, but how did Adventure Rivers get its own star? I mean, the other ones all were cool rides.
I was going to say, is Adventure Rivers really going to star?
I mean, I guess you're right because the East sucks. Why would you get its own star?
I'll keep it real. Right? Adventure Rivers was never that good.
Well, I mean, we don't see any stars for anything on the west side.
But I also don't think we'll see an El Sombrero.
That's because the West Side is its own shining star. It did not need to be memorialized over here, and because unlike the East Side, the West is still fucking alive. Scott,
he's back to the
totally
West. Sorry,
okay?
I love how you came back to the West. He's still feeling it. Oh yeah, Batman was.
Don't write off.
He had another point. We didn't get it.
Have that thing sitting in a warehouse.
I'm sure that hat is there somewhere. Oh yeah,
different hat on it.
For sure.
Oh, where is that hat?
Now, after you head toward free fall, this is there because clearly someone was like, well, we're never going to take it down. Just leave the Fright Fest thing up. And then, there you go.
If you don't take it down, you don't got to put it back up.
I mean, that's exactly what I think they felt because there's a couple screws holding the things here. So why take it down? So, So what, me though, I like Halloween shit. So I thought it was cool. So we got a photo up there.
That person is clearly confused. He must think he's in the shed in the Western cables.
Shut up, man. Don't pick on my Uncle James. All right.
He's dropping a deuce in that skull head. That's not cool.
Now, ignoring Scotty's rude comments on my family members, all right? The Batman stunt show is still there, and when you ride the rides near it, you can see that the entire stadium, including all the seats, is still inside, but it is clearly never, ever used and fully shut down. Just a dead monument to, I guess, when they want to do something with it someday. And then I was so excited to go on the free fall. Wait, the what?
Oh,
wait,
Wonder Woman.
Wait, what? Oh, free fall. You got very ladylike. What happened? No free fall, Chris. Free fall is gone. I did not know the free fall was gone. I mean, I assumed it would be after a amount of time, but I was surprised that free fall is gone. I will say this Wonder Woman ride is pretty badass. So we kind of enjoyed it.
Pretty badass.
It was pretty cool. It's like 1 million seats that all go in a circle, and then it just throws you around like mad, kind of like a lasso. And the cool thing is, if you worked in the park, it actually takes you up here to the left, so you can see that everything in the wardrobe area looks exactly the same. All looks the same when we were there. Like you can see the ops office, all that stuff, the maintenance office, all still sitting there. So that was kind of cool.
Didn't get a picture while you were up there?
No, you're not allowed to hold cameras. You're not allowed. And on this ride, the guy saw me put my camera in my pocket, and he's like, "Can't start the ride till the camera goes into the bin. No cameras on the ride." And the guy actually would not start it till I got out of my seat and put it in a bin. I shit you not. I was like, "Look at this motherfucker targeting me." I was like, "He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. I did try to put it in my pocket, but I wasn't going to try to lose my phone and take a picture like Scott wants, But whatever."
Plus, you thought they'd be more inept.
Right?
He was profiling you as an ex-GA employee. He's like, these guys are troublemakers.
It's really funny. The dude that was operating this ride that day actually was trying to spiel to the people. He actually gave a shit. Half the other operators clearly were like typical operators and didn't give a flying fuck and wouldn't even look at anyone in the queue line. But I give this guy credit. Even though he was busting my balls, he was actually doing his job, so I'm not going to bust his balls. Like he was doing the right thing, and he was actually trying to be funny on the mic too. But it was like 100 degrees and nobody was having it. Like everyone was just ignoring his ass. I felt bad for him actually. Nice. But so we head over to the right, and there's that's
Killer Monument.
I mean, I guess this is Movie Town water effects.
That was the dome from the chiller that they never took down, right?
Yeah, now it's the Lena Luthor Science Exploratorium, which is basically just a big, as you can see,
dome
collectibles available inside. It's just it's now just a merch shop. And if you keep going over, it's connected to the Hall of Justice, which is cool. Which for
that
DC,
is pretty cool. Yeah.
Pretty cool. And the other side of this to the left is the Battle for Metropolis, which is if you ever went on Spider-Man Universal, one of my favorite rides, that's awesome. Just like Spider-Man. It's basically like you're in a seat that moves around from room to room, and there's these 3D like villains attacking you, and you have a gun and you get to shoot them, and you get to rack up points. And then at the end of the ride, whoever got the most points, it says it on the screen. So, it was kind of cool. I didn't mind it. It was kind of neat. On the other side is Showcase Theater, which is still there, still in good shape, and not open. No shows, no nothing, just completely shut down. Doesn't look like it was used at all for the year, by the way.
That one's tough. It's an indoor venue. I mean, COVID. I can see that open.
You should start taking notice of a pattern, though. If you're an elderly person and you go with your family, there's no shows for elderly people to go into to get out of the heat or just to rest their feet. All of them are closed as we walk around the park so far. There's literally nothing but a bench in the sun to sit on if you're old.
Wow. So, we didn't do so well with shade, did we? Still the same.
Nope. All these benches are sitting in the sun. Yeah.
There's definitely a lot less trees.
Oh, dude. You'll see this, especially when we get to Fantasy Forest next. They removed so much stuff and just left it empty. So there is so much of this open
wide spans of concrete. I was lots of planters, trees, and landscapes, like shade.
Yep.
Yeah. Doesn't like new concrete out there, though.
That's what I was going to say. That's one of the biggest memories I had from 4 years ago. Lots of wide open concrete and no shade whatsoever. Yeah.
Yep. And then Peluso, there is no longer a fest anything. It is just catering. I guess this was changed a long time ago, but it is not at all fest themed. It is fully just closed off catering. And obviously in the world of COVID, they're not catering shit. So there's nothing going on. And then there is a Cyborg spin ride, which is, this was going to be the last ride we went on. And then we just decided not to because everybody was too hot and cranky. But it actually looked kind of cool. It's like an arc that you get in with a bunch of people and it just throws you all over the goddamn place. So it's very much like
I've seen that.
It's a joustabout on steroids. It's really what it is. So, and then we turned around and went back to Skee Ball Barn and then headed to Congo Rapids. And we saw a couple of these here. Now, Andy, what's interesting about
these? Is that the Spiromania?
Yes, it's a different version. It's permanent though. They can move it. But you could see it's got the way it's set. They can lift this stuff up real easy. It's just held in by a couple bolts. Now,
it's got a more permanent roof on it.
It's got a more permanent roof. So this is clearly meant to sit here for the whole year. $6 to win.
Damn.
Crap.
Damn.
Wow.
Just crap. But the one thing I will give them though, it is a water race with the little laser water beam, and it's $6 for anything. Like whatever it is, it's $6 wins choice. So if you see a prize here you like and you're willing to say, I want a Pikachu for $6, then whatever, I guess it's good, right? As you notice, this was none of these people gave two flying fucks about.
They turned their back to you.
Dude, no, just sitting up there on the phone. Everybody's on the phone. We were joking around about wondering if we went back, if they would be on the phone. Fuck yeah. Nobody was saying hi. Nobody was saying shit. They're all sitting up on edges and sitting on the phone. And to be honest with you, we never saw a soup either. And it seems like they have a whole different soup structure because it looks like there is a soup on each ride that I guess is in place of a lead. And we didn't see area soups walking around. I don't have any idea how that structure works. So when we talked to John Nealio, who's going to be on one of ours, who just recently retired, I have a lot of questions about how the fuck they run like their staffing like levels now. Cause it really confused me, man. I have no idea. It looked like every ride had its own supervisor, black tags, and that was it. It was really bizarre. But anyway, went on Nitro. Nitro didn't change. Nitro was the same. Everything was fine. I did find it kind of get a kick out of the whole, still can't find the entrance to Nitro signs. There should never be a reason for people to be that confused. But to be honest with you, if you're regular pass versus fast pass, it is pretty goddamn confusing. But we got on it. It was fine. We went to Scottyland. Now I will tell you, nothing has changed pretty much at all. Q line same. We went on. Only this side was running. This side was shut down. Obviously, employees were polite. Let us ride. There was nobody online for this thing. So we were like, can we go again? Sure. Don't even get up. Sure. Don't you get up. So we went 3 times because it was hot and we were like, what the fuck? Why not? Right. There's me.
It's just crazy to me that in a hot day in August, that you could just stay on that ride where that typically is about an hour and a half away.
You know what's funny? It's because it's no longer Adventure Rivers, I think, and because it's really out of the fucking way of everything, except here's the fucked up thing, and you'll see it. The new ride is right there. The new ride is basically where Koala Canyon was, but the new ride's not been open and hasn't been open for a while. I guess it only opened for like a week or some shit when we went, and it wasn't open when we were there. So nobody, unless they're going to Nitro, is even in this side of the park. Because the only other thing here is kiddie rides. Until you go over near the Sky Ride, there's nothing. So nobody has a reason to come down here. So I don't think people come down here to get cool or anything anymore on a hot day. They just don't care, you know?
Wow.
I will say 2 things. Station 1 girl just sat on a phone and we did the annoying hi, which is hysterical because you know that annoys motherfuckers at Station 1, Station 2. She looked up and did very politely wave and say hi, and then went right back to texting on her phone, which kind of made me giggle.
You know what's weird though? When we were there, like my last season, we didn't even staff Station 1. Like that was just left empty.
Well, funny you should say that. The third time we went around, she was gone from there, but we could see she just got up, took a pan of broom, was pan of brooming the queue line area. So I guess I don't really understand on a short staff day what was going on there, except maybe they were keeping someone there to run breaks themselves. I don't know.
Wasn't there a recent mishap on a Rapids ride?
Maybe, but not our Rapids ride, a different.
No, but a Rapids. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there was. Now here's something that's real disappointing though. This bridge is between Station 1, Station 2, and leads to a rocky alcove here, and the purpose of this used to be because this was a jam spot, which supposedly cannot jam anymore. It wasn't that this spot supposedly couldn't jam when I left either. But what's really kind of a bummer is because they don't have a need for it anymore, they deliberately let this fucking bamboo and shit grow over and you can't get to it. So if you're an employee, you can't even fuck around. I used to go out here with Rich Zabo and we used to just come out here and bullshit and whatnot. And, throw like, things of water at people as they're going by, just to make ourselves laugh, can't even get out here anymore. It's completely shut off now. So Zabo, if you're listening, wah, wah, The other weird thing. So we come up and we look and we could see on the left in the reservoir, there's probably maybe 7 boats running, maybe 3 in reservoir. There's like no boats at all. And I'm sitting there going like, holy fuck. Like, even if this was the hottest day ever, it doesn't matter. They really might as well not open the other side because there's no goddamn boats.
I don't think that they ever open the far side anymore because, it's just one continuous slow running belt that they do. They don't have the belt starting and stopping anymore. It's just.
That might be true. You might be right. Yeah, you might be right. When you come out, this was a Koala Canyon path. Now it is the path to the new ride. and it cracked me up that it's supposed to be the Pine Barrens for the New Jersey Devil, but the theming is still all bamboo because all
Where the hell's the pine trees?
That's what we were allowed. There's no Pine Barrens in the Pine Barrens. We're like, you cheap motherfuckers.
The bamboo barons.
I will say this, man. Once you get bamboo, you can't get rid of it. That stuff.
Oh, it's absolutely true. But to Andy's point too, wide concrete. No, look at, you could shade this goddamn bench so easy, but no shade. I'm just like, wow, man, like nothing changes.
But on the bright side, you'll never crash a hayride cart in that little narrow thing anymore.
Well, I'll be honest with you. I could drive. I would never crash it anyway. Only certain people would do that. Okay, only certain people.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And as we exit what's left of Adventure Rivers, Peluso, I will say this just may be the remnants of my reading bench, and I'm hoping it is.
As you were putting the finger, I was like, is that really it?
That might be, because there really was only like 2 benches over there, so that might be. So
we got to get like a little nameplate or something, like sneak it in.
Yeah, we'll all go and visit and tack it up and leave.
Yeah. So we exit out, we see the big old Skull Mountain, and as we turn around, this is what we used to see, which I thought was gorgeous. This is what we used to see, right? And remember, this was supposed to lead you straight to the Asian Tower, so they have this Asian log theme kind of thing going on. I thought this was, I love this. I love crossing this bridge. I always thought this was like, when I was in 160, this was like, my day was going to be good. I was home. I liked it. It was all good. Wah, wah. That's what's left. Now there is one half of the kiddie land is in here, Safari Kids. So we didn't go in here, but it's all a bunch of kiddie rides.
Wait, what the hell's the guy doing with the wheelbarrow?
Now that's the funny part. So in the kiddie section, we could see from Nitro, there was construction going on. And unlike most parks, they're just doing it right in the middle of the fucking day. And there's just these construction workers just walking around with their cigarettes hanging out of their pockets and shit. And I'm like, wow, whatever. I guess who gives a shit, you know? So, yeah, it was a little surprising. We did go on Skull Mountain, and I will tell you, it was about 11 a.m., and they don't close the curtains. And nothing is worse than a dark ride that has no darkness to it. It is a fucking bummer. And inside looks like they haven't swept or cleaned it for like years. And it looks like they just store shit in there. So we're going on a track looking at garbage all over around the track on the inside. And I was like, this is just a bummer, man. This ride sucks. And even the kids were like, yeah, this is not cool. They're like, why don't they just close the curtains? What are you talking about?
3 horizontal loops.
Yeah,
I know.
You must take too much away from those horizontal loops.
3 horizontal loops. Come on.
It was a dude. I was like, if they just had it in the dark, it would be a fun ride. Why the fuck don't you? And you can just, as soon as you're going in, you can see the curtains are wide open. So you knew what you're getting, you know? So, wah, wah. All right. So if you turn around, this is the new bumper cars. Okay. So this is their big ass and it's bigger than the other bumper cars. We didn't go on it, but it's clearly bigger. It is still in the same area, okay, but they kind of replaced a roundup with it, okay?
Well, that's the Cables right there, though, right?
Cables is still here. Cables is still Skyway. Cables hasn't changed. Cables is one of the stand-ups that stayed. Sign. Yep, we didn't ride it, but it was running. We did get a laugh, though, that many of these rides have been completely commercialized. And so most of the cable cars, and you'll see that when we get into the Frontier area, these are all sponsored by M&M's. Yeah. So most of the cable cars are the color of M&M's, big M's on them now, which made us laugh. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
One of the things I remember when I went.
That's nothing new.
No, not at all.
You know, even I remember when Lipton bought the log flume.
Yeah, we had Skittles, I think.
Wait till you see the level I'm talking about.
Yeah, every square inch is covered with some kind of like.
Yeah, I kind of figured it would be like bail bonds by now or something.
Exactly.
We buy cash for gold.
It's going to be fucking, Red Apple cigarettes pretty soon. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
No quick divorce, $2.99 divorce.
Yeah. All right, so this is actually where kind of like the rotor would have been. Okay, there's a Jolly Roger ride over here, which was like I'm trying to remember what the fuck it was.
Bigger, not a big coaster, but it was bigger than like a.
It looked like it wasn't a coaster. The Jolly Roger looked like a Music Express on arms. So basically, it was Music Express cars that go up and down is what it looked like from what I could see from. Oh,
it was called Chaos, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the newer premier ones, I think.
There you go.
Yeah, it was called Chaos.
And now they still have some boats there. So, Andy, these are still alive. Not a lot of them, but there's still a couple of little boats there. Sadly, though, I don't know. I mean, nobody was using them. So there's some things where just I saw nobody playing games at all the whole day. Like, I mean, I'm not joking when I say I did not see a single person playing a game.
Well, for $6 a shot, I mean,
I know. You would think.
A lot of money.
Well, also though, since no one else is playing, if you go up, it's just me and you going up. One of us is getting it. Yeah, you think somebody would be going up, right? Yeah. Like, oh, well, I want my Pikachu. I'm definitely going to win it, but I didn't even see that, man.
Just all head-to-head
challenges. Have their 4-person minimum or something going on there. So
I didn't think about that. You might be right, and that's true because then you would be waiting forever. Because I'm telling you, there was nobody going up these things.
Wow.
I was happy to see that right behind. This is still there.
Koi pond.
The koi pond is still there. With nothing in it. It doesn't. It's barely even up like 2 inches of water.
I was just saying, barely even water.
Yeah, there's almost no water. Fountain's working. No.
It should
fish
be up
in
to
it.
the level of that little train there.
A train.
Yeah. Nothing. No fish. No nothing. So again, I'm assuming COVID killed the fishies. I guess I don't know. Man. I don't know. But Scott will be happy because when you look up. The Buccaneers!
Hey!
Still there, still running.
So what I'm going to say, and one observation so far in this picture tour that you're taking us on is every one of my rides is still there, man. And I'm getting a little tear in my eye seeing the Buccaneer, it's getting a little misty-eyed. But every ride that I worked, Buccaneer, Cables, Congo, they're all there.
You are lucky. This ride to the left is the Harlequin crazy train thingy that they have now. So this is actually a little mini coaster to the left.
Oh, that's actually what I was thinking of was the Jolly Roger.
I knew what you were talking about. That's why I figured I'd just let you go until we got here. So the Jolly Roger looks like the Music Express, and this is just a little mini train ride, basically.
So Cinema 180 is completely gone.
So, boom, this was where Cinema 180 was. It is all gone, and all that's there now is there is the back path behind the Buccaneer is still there, and you're going to see it in a minute. There is the Harlequin ride here, and then it goes over, to the Joker ride. They're side by side, which I thought theming-wise was kind of cute, okay?
Yeah.
And look at all of this open fucking space to get to it. Look at this. Like, they just, there's nothing. Everything is just concrete. I'm like,
so much concrete.
Shit. Now, here's the best. Thank God we had the Fast Pass because the Fast Pass on the Joker brings you to the back of the ride. And so when you go on, which, by the way, I love that they used Neil Adams' old school 1970 artwork, which was beautiful for the sign. This sign is really fucking cool. This is badass. So I thought that was kind of neat. That's a good touch. That, my friends, is I'm in line at the Joker. I'm in the back. This is the path leading to the behind the Buccaneer. And by the way, yes, that is the fort. That is the log flume. This is where Ski Show Stadium used to be. There is nothing there. It is just gone. So we didn't walk up this lakefront path because there's nothing there. There's nothing to walk up. There's nothing there. It's just gone.
And then this back area would have been part like where the hayride started, or roughly around there.
Yep.
Right.
It would have been farther to the right.
There was a big double door gate there.
Now that double door gate, I think, is actually still there, but the path extends further now because of the way that they cleared everything out. But I think that gate was still there, if I remember right, when we were walking past it. I think I still saw the gate there, but it's to the far right now.
I mean, they have lighting on that path now and everything.
Yeah.
Yep. And this will crack you up even a little more. So this is a closer view of everything is just fucking gone. I mean, there's just nothing there. You can just see it. It's empty.
So do they still do fireworks?
No. I don't, not there, but what'll crack you up is this is a fireworks platform still sitting there. And I don't think they've done fireworks off that lake in a long time. I could be wrong, but it's still just sitting there moored up against the ground, which kind of cracked us up. We're like, holy shit, that's hysterical. So we took a shot of that. All right. So now we walked past the carousel we walked kind of the back way, past Boardwalk's entrance, past carousel, past Boardwalk. And we went to the entrance of the Frontier area, which is now, when you first walk in, you got a Golden Kingdom sign, but Golden Kingdom is really the stuff to the left if you're going to go to Rolling Thunder. If you go to the right, you're basically back in Frontier. Now, this right here, where the gyro is, used to be Casa de Taco.
Holy shit,
Yeah.
that's one of my
No,
restaurants.
it's Casa de Gyro.
Now it's Casa de Gyro. And here what's even worse. Every single one of these merch stands in this path to the right and left. So it used to be, at one time, old-timey photo, Kong Han, airbrush shirt barn, all that shit gone. It's like a couple food stands and nothing else. There's like no merch stuff there at all. It's all gone.
So Casa de Gyro, that's like two different like ethnic foods. It's like,
Yes.
Spanish and like Greek. And then the Golden Kingdom, I would just nickname it the Golden Shower, man. If that were me. Oh yeah, I'm going to work at the Golden Shower today. Yeah. Uh-huh.
We tried putting gyros in there. It failed. I had a Greek dude and everything. Great guy, chef like Mehmet. He was so upset that the gyros didn't work out. I can't believe the gyros are back. Mehmet, if you're watching, the gyros are back. Maybe Mehmet's there.
Oh my God, it's so funny.
They were damn good too.
Yeah. All right, so we went through, and now if you look directly to the right, basically that's the bandstand, and now that's where Bugs Bunny's other section. That's where Bugs Bunny National Park is, but basically this is the other kiddie rides.
Yeah.
So there's two sections now. There's one over near.
That was there the last time we were there.
Me too.
Yeah.
Yes, for that.
Yep. But our BBL is fully gone, 100%.
Right, because that's
gone.
where King Dakan, all that other stuff is now.
Well, that's where a really sad, you'll see, wildlife preserve is now, where BBL is, and it's a bummer as fuck, dude. But you'll see it in a few minutes. But the one thing that's still here, though, yay, Lost Parents is still right here. I don't think Irene's there.
That's the same lady's work
there.
That would have been great. Yeah.
I hope. I didn't go in because I was going to be bummed if it wasn't. But yeah, I was happy that's still there, and I was happy they didn't change the name. I always thought that's one of the smartest names they ever gave it.
The names are appropriate because a lot of parents would intentionally like lose their kids, so they get like.
Oh yeah. Yeah. All right, so we head toward our iconic Western area, and as we get closer. The sign is still there. I love it. Sawmill Snacks is still there. I love it.
The log flume looked good. I like that.
Log flume looked good. Cables looks good with the M&M's cars. Hey, it's the green M&M's. Hey,
that's actually good theming M&M's for them.
They did do a good job. I will give them that. So
yeah, that's a good idea.
And Chris, lift one. What are we walking to? Snake pit.
Yes.
And nothing has changed in this snake pit.
Oh my God.
Now, here's something that cracked me up. So the lockouts, they have a regular lock for the stupid grate that doesn't do shit. But then for the pump grate, they actually have a rides lockout on it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Why do you have a full ride lockout on the pump grates? I was like, I don't know. This place is wacky. This is wacky. All right. So we walked, and Andy, this is my old, my first ride.
Yeah, I recognize that.
Yep. Paddle boats. And wait, it gets better, Andy. It's not yet gone. There is still 2 remaining docks from paddle boats still sitting in the fucking water.
I guess paddle boats will be the last ride there ever.
Yeah.
That's
like, I mean, think about it. That's like what? So that's like 30 years later. And
I can't believe it's still like solid and not
they don't build them like
it's not wood rod or something.
It's not solid. I have a better view when I'm on the ride. It is not solid. Okay. Now, one thing I'll point out, when I was talking about the park doesn't seem to give a shit about like what the guests see. There's no reason to have ladders sitting out here. This is definitely, we know log flume. You're not using this ladder. Even for the incident that happened there, you're not using this ladder to get anyone out. So like, there's a lot of this shit throughout the park that I'm just
it's theming.
Yeah, it really, I'm like, Jesus Christ. The one thing I will also point
love
out
the extreme danger high voltage sign right
those are
by the water.
all over the fucking place, dude. Which made me laugh.
Danger, not danger, extreme.
This also cracked me up, Andy. So of course my nosy ass is looking.
So they've redone this again.
Oh yeah. So here, just for you, buddy. So 6 across, 3, and 6 across, 6 here, and 3, right? So that's our paddle, which is way more intricate than the new paddle.
Yeah, but that's the newer one though. There was the older one before that.
Absolutely. Yep. I cannot find a picture of the one before this. You're absolutely right. This is the one that Tommy and Hero fixed. The same guys that did the Shockwave. Absolutely. I mean, not Shockwave, Ultra Twister. Yep. So I was like, wow, that's kind of like that paddle is kind of cute. And this used to be Flume Photo. So just for Jackie Ruger, there you go. You now have a walkway instead of a Flume Photo.
Is that the Fast Pass entrance now? Do they?
No, actually, they didn't even have, like, for us, there was none for Log Flume. They were like, no, you just walk in. There's no line. Just go. There was no line on Log Flume at all. We just walked right in and walked right up. We thought it was going to be over the bridge, and they're like, no, actually, for Log Flume, you just go in normal, and they'll take care of you. And we're like, okay. And then it really just didn't have anything.
I gotta say, the water looks pretty clean. I mean,
the water was absolutely spotless. I give them credit for that. And the other
for
thing I'll
August,
say,
it's usually pretty disgusting by then. So
yeah, for sure. And then for the people, when we were talking about the Pan and Broom Wars, so this is where you would come up this ladder from the outside, and this is where you would let boats out of storage. But there used to be a ladder on the same column that would let you get onto the roof of the Q house right here. And this entire shed up here has a door hidden to the right. And this thing was nothing but a hidden storage shed where we could hide pans and brooms, and no one could ever fucking get them.
That's a cool spot.
That's a cool spot. Yeah.
It's probably still full of 180 pans and brooms.
I was going to say, you probably have old pans and brooms.
Probably. Cooler. And nothing changes. This is just as dangerous as it always was. With, I mean, it just cracks me up. Although it doesn't look like it has a clip anymore. So I'm wondering if there's some type of like pneumatic drop on it or something now. I have no idea, but that's going to be a Neilio question when we talk to him.
Oh, I just remember that phrase being on the maintenance forever: clip on storage, gate, chain broken.
Yep. Had to point it out. We were happy. We got in our boat. The boats look exactly the same. And I will say, our fat asses in the two seating back, I literally looked at my cousin and was like, I think you just impregnated me. I'm not kidding. All right? Like, it is so tight in the back of these boats. As an old fat adult, I was like, this is not fun, man. Not fun. But
so do you feel bad about cramming 5 people into these boats?
Fuck no. Fuck no. Look, I'm a fatty. If you want to ride, fatties get in. I mean, that's it. I'm a fatty. I could say that. So, you know.
Throughput.
One of the things you will notice, the entire walkway. No, not only low water, but look at the walkway, Andy.
Oh, finally.
The entire walkway is metal grates. There's no more boards to fall through. Now, that always makes me wonder, did somebody finally put a foot through it?
Somebody finally went down.
I'm wondering, but yeah. I took some photos of this one going around. It's funny. The people up here were not on their cell phones at all, and were not on phones talking to each other. They were actually... This felt like old school log flume. They were very friendly. Hi, waving as we went by. It was pretty cool. Actually, it made me feel really good. Now, they put a fountain inside of here, like a little thing here, and the docks are barely holding up. Those two paddleboat docks were so about to just go under. I mean, like the wood's rotted. Now, here's the weird thing. Look closely to the right. You don't come out down here anymore when you exit. When you exit, you actually come out directly into the other side of Best of the West, and you go right over the bridge. That's the exit. This is closed off now because the Safari ride-in entrance is over here. So this whole fish feeder walkway, you can't get to it.
Oh, it's basically like one of my favorite places in the whole park.
Yep, that's why I'm pointing it out. You can see there's just nothing there. They don't give a shit. They have it fully closed off now, and
the patio's still there, at least where we used to do our
the ones.
change.
Yep, the one's up. Yeah.
And where are you gonna go to the bathroom now?
The bathroom is still there on the other side. You can use the bathroom, but this is now a queue line for the Safari thing.
Okay.
So we went up lift 2, which I just had to take the photos for the fuck of it.
It looks like fairly fresh blue paint, I gotta say. It looks pretty good.
Yeah, log flume looked really nice. I have to give you that. Now, it's funny. So we all know there was an incident at this particular log flume where this boat right in this spot went up and basically went onto its side. We also know that the railing that they showed that was broken was broken, but it was broken before, because there's a separate video that was released by another guest that shows an actual boat hitting that railing. So that railing was already broken out. Now, what cracked me up is that railing, you could tell exactly what railing broke. All these railings are still rusty as motherfucking hell, and all they did was just put some brand new railing into that one spot patch, and that was it.
Wow.
And the other thing I'll point out here, Andy, I don't see any pipes in here anymore. There might be one right there.
Cascade.
the waterfall, the Cascades.
Yeah.
So what a lot of people don't know is me and Andy, during our time as leads, I think me and Brian Coffin might be the last leads ever allowed to run it. This used to actually have a waterfall down these rocks. So I can't see any, that's the only one I can find, that one little pipe right there. I think they closed them all off. This entire rock area that you're seeing to the right used to actually have a waterfall that was called the Cascade. And from the pump house, you hit a button and it would constantly pour water down there to give it like this really cool illusion of more water pouring, because, you know, the wheel here doesn't pour that much water. That was actually made with steel pipes with no way to access them under the rock. So they were rotting. So by the time we became leads, they were actually blowing out the concrete if you turned them on. And there was so much rust coming out of them that they basically said, you can't do it anymore. And eventually they took the control panel piece off, so you couldn't even hit the button to turn them on. I, of course, absolutely turned them on a couple times, and just because I wanted to, because I was like, fuck it, it's my ride and I want to see him run. And that was not...
I like waterfalls.
I like waterfalls, and I want to see it. And it was not smart, because it really did push like rusty, like stain down the rocks, and you could hear things going like poof, poof, and you're like, oh, pipes are exploding. Shut that off, you know. So, but
the whole fort collapses.
I know, right? I was always hearing that, for real. Peluso, you'll also appreciate, there used to be a ladder up here, and this whole section right here above this queue line is another storage area, which we used to be able to climb up into, but they quickly said, someone's going to fall and there's no reason for you guys to be up there. So that ladder got taken down real fucking quick. Yeah. But used to be one there. So, let's see which photo it was. Is any of these? No, might be next one. And of course I had to take a photo of the splash. Had to get a photo of the Lift 2 splash. So, yeah, your exit is now the Best of the West thing. You cross over. Best of the West is now the grill and saloon, because most places are serving beer in the park now. So that was fine. Yeah, you know, I know some people like Scotty are happy about that.
I'm not happy about paying like $20 for a beer.
Mine Train sign looks all the same, man. Mine Train, I gotta say, nothing changed, including
holds
the
up pretty
cables.
nicely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Came in, cables looks exactly the same, entering the
my
Western
God,
cables.
looks
No
exactly
different.
the same.
Even the
Mine-
concrete looks original. It's
I
like
power washed that.
Absolutely. Mine Train looks exactly the same. No changes, man. I love that this one train was still the old
Original
trains.
train.
Yep,
Yes.
original train,
Yes.
original colors. Those were the colors when we
Wow.
were there. I thought that was cool as shit.
That's great.
That was pretty neat. I still enjoy the ride a lot. You know, there's my goofy ass enjoying it, you know. The other train was actually custom done for Robert Wood Johnson Barnabas Health, and it looks like it's to support some type of kids thing, but it was a really cool fucking looking train. So this is where I'm like, I guess that was a charity marketing thing. I'm not sure, but it was neat.
So I'm counting 48 years. This ride is this 48 years old, this ride?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Easily.
wow, that's impressive.
And that's still there too, Andy. It's still got the fucking stage, the same entry doors. All that is still there. I thought that was fucking sweet as hell. Now, where things start changing is no TP, no Conestoga wagon, and because the Safari now has its own tour bus you ride in, this is now where you go on the Safari.
Wow.
So the Safari's queue line is over here. And
So it's the Old West Safari.
Yep, basically. Which I mean, whatever, it's fine. At least the theming kind of makes a little bit of sense, I guess. You know.
Now, what if you only want to do the Safari? Are you still able to do that, or do you have to buy admission?
You have to take their trucks, I think, to go through.
Oh, okay.
Exactly. Now the bathroom is still there, like it was. This is kind of like they obviously they changed a lot of landscape here. And as you head to the Great Arena, the Great Arena is not open. And it has clearly not been used this entire year. It is fully shut down, and all it has is a big ass promo for their little Safari Dino expedition thing that they're doing. That little limited time, you know, the animatronic dinosaur section in the Safari, which I thought was kind of cool. I did see someone take video of it, and it was not that impressive, but still kind of cool if they're doing it though. So I give them credit for that. And you could say it's basically just a bunch of Safari queue lines and stuff. So you know, wah, wah. If you go to the other side, it's still got the Elephant Barn is still there. The show's offices look like they're all still there. Everything there looks like it's still there. Not accessible to guests like it never, should have been, but it's all still there. Bizarro's still there. That was one of the few open rides when we went, which was cool. So we did ride it. I did enjoy it. That was great. And that brings you to, yay, the Ultra Twister Bridge. And then that brings me to a little bit of disappointment. So I love this view. So I took it because I thought it was kind of cool. But what's sad is these tracks over here to the right are not Rolling Thunder because Rolling Thunder is gone.
Yeah.
These are the other ride over there. What was it? What is that? Kingda Ka? What fucking Kingda Ka,
that's
right?
El Toro, no?
El Toro. It's El Toro.
Yeah.
It's El Toro. I did get a kick at, again, marijuana signs everywhere, which just does crack me up. I also thought it was kind of humorous that where there's a fire hydrant, someone decided to put a relief area for service dogs. I thought that was kind of cute too.
Nice.
Andy, get out your tissue. Get out your tissue, Andy.
They
didn't even take Jesus Christ. They didn't even take the sign down. They just put a fucking fence behind it, and the queue line is still like kind of there. And I'm like, what the fuck? And there is some of the station still there too. We got like bad photos from when we were over at another ride, so I didn't bother putting them up because they weren't that good. But there is a little bit of the station left there. Now, interestingly enough, though, I did not see the maintenance shed there anymore. So I do not, and that used to be the secondary maintenance shed in the park. So I don't know if there's another. That was. And I don't know if there is two maintenance sheds there now. So I know sometimes like Tom Manchester and stuff, a lot of people listen to this. If anyone knows if there is no other maintenance shed now, if it's just the one over near Wardrobe, let us know. I'm really curious about that. Chris, you should tell Sam about this because this is a little disappointing. When I first worked with Sam in games, she was mainly taking care of this Western section games area. Okay.
Nice.
And remember, it had Frog Bog and all that. It was kind of cool,
I know.
Right?
Yeah, the Frontier Games area.
Not anymore. Now it's Fiesta Games.
Wow.
And
it's all coin operated stuff.
It's motherfucking. It's just crane games, one air hockey, this cheesy ass foot massage game. Wait, it's going to be even better. This is how much they don't give a flying fuck. It's crane games where how the fuck do you lose? $2 equals one play, and nothing is even in them, much less being jammed together. We all know the scam. You jam them in so they can't get the fucking crane and lift them out. And literally, they clearly don't give a fuck. There's just nothing in these cranes. They're all fucking empty. Look at this. There is more fucking bugs in here than prizes. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Yeah, dude. I was like, and again, $3 for these tiny ass old Marios. I'm like, come on. Yeah. The only thing that was good was a quarter foot massager. Nope, it didn't work, but it did say it was a seat for my nephew. So, and then they put a boneless wig joint attached to it. Totally kicking boneless wings. I'm like, is that what the Golden Kingdom gets? Boneless wings?
Exactly. So the Golden
That's
Kingdom.
the other taco restaurant that was next to there.
Yep. And then you come out, and this is the other side of, so this would be where like, the big Kong photo was and the old timey photo. This is that view. Now, if you go to the right to where BBL was, which is what we do, you go into the wild walkway. So this is actually BBL. This is really what's left of BBL. And there's not a lot here, but when you go in, it's a little sea lion habitat now because sea lions like water and they had a lot of water. They seem to be okay. They seem to be the only happy animals in this fucking habitat. Then we get to the cheetahs, who are like, motherfuckers, we're not running. It is 100 degrees out. Why are we here? Yes.
What the hell are we doing here?
We're used to being in hot weather. That's what we're used to. But this is ridiculous. And this is the tiniest cage. Fuck you, people. We're not your puppets. They did not look happy, man. And there was also there was a tortoise area, and they had this massive ass fucking turtle. It looked like a big ass snapping turtle. And I looked it over to the kids, and I was like, that is the most unhappy turtle I've ever seen in my life. And I shit you not, the turtle looked straight at the window and went, it just hissed at us. Fucking hissed at us. And I was like, see, I knew it. I knew it wasn't happy. It was so
probably
funny.
Like, kill me.
It really was.
Turtle
It really
probably
was, dude.
living in Prospertown Lake.
Yeah, exactly. This is fucking sap, fucking brown water from Prospertown. They're putting me in. Oh man, there's also an owl there, and that was the only one that had a person that was actually there talking about the owl. So there was like a girl whose job was clearly to give you information on the owl, and that was it. Otherwise, there was like I don't think we saw any other animals there, but it was kind of disappointing. Kingdom Cobb was here. Well, why are we not talking about Kingdom Cobb? Because again, it wasn't open. We were reserved on a fast pass, got this close, and everybody here turned around and said, "Just shut down, don't go." And we looked, and sure enough, they canceled our reservation thingy. So we were like, okay. So then we turn, and then this brings us to the back area of 130. So this is bringing us to the boardwalk area now, where they have Superman and they have Green Lantern. So Parachutes was open and Parachutes was running, and that is one of the original rides that was still there. There is this thing here over where it's like some type of that's the Superman, and it looked like, from what I could tell, Right Stuff is long gone, and I couldn't tell what the fuck's even in the building that's there, but it didn't even look like the same building, so that's gone. Parachutes is there. This is like basically a joustabout like ride as well, but it cracked me up because Andy, again, the theming. Twix's right side versus left side is the literal theming of the goddamn ride. I'm like, fucking A, man. So again, nobody riding this either. A lot of the rides, just nobody was even going on them. So I was like, holy shit, surprising. Green Lantern, I liked. It was fun. It was open. Superman, well, you're not going to see any pictures because closed. Superman wasn't running either. So want to that one as well. So
there's another sponsored car lot here.
So so it's funny. There's cars here. There's cars in front of the carousel. You'll see as well. In various areas of park, they just have cars. It's like Barry Salvatore is in here doing his used car dealership thing. I don't know. It's just fucking weird, man. It's really weird. I don't know. This was highly disappointing. Our milk cans aren't even there anymore. It's a ring toss game now, and it's just a bunch of big-ass superheroes.
I mean, that was the gravy.
That's it. This is it, dude. It's this and that. That's it.
Wow.
That's all it is, man.
Wow, the $1 million game.
Yep. Yeah, and by the way, there's nobody at any of these games. Me. Yeah, you could see as I'm going by, there's nobody playing any of these games. We made the hard right. And I thought this was kind of cool. At this one fucking game, they have pillows that had all rides on them.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, like the membership one's stupid. I know. Cool. I thought that was badass, dude. I was like, the Mine Train. And, if you did work in like Skull Mountain, they have a Skull Mountain one. I was like, but as soon as I saw the Mine Train, I was like, that's pretty badass. That's kind of cool, Daredevil Dive, we were like, yeah. Oh, wait, of course, this ride's not open either. So no.
Price has gone up a little
bit. Look at Morgan's face too. What the hell, man? You got a fast pass to nothing. There's nothing open,
Wait, why was it? Go back to that sign. Why was it? What, $20 for one, 30 for two, and like a $20 jump for three people? Like, why is it that much more special? To, like, add a third person that it's $20 more?
Oh, 50 total. I think it's 50 total for three.
Yeah.
You save $10.
Wait. But I thought it was like one person, two people, or three people.
I know it's Scott's saying if you add a second person, you're only paying another 10. If you add a third person, you have to pay another 20.
Yeah, it is weird. Yeah,
you know why, Scotty? Because the third fatty might break it. So they got to pay for that extra insurance. That's why. I don't know, man.
Yeah, you would think it would be 40. Yeah, you would think 40.
I'm just saying, if I were the third person, I'd be like, screw that. I'm going to go by myself.
Well, it's funny, though. It's funny. I joke about the fatties, but I was a fatty when I went on this, and me and Andy used to ride this fucker every day when we could. And I will tell you, the fatter you were, the better this motherfucking ride was, because you flew as a fatty, man. This thing launched your ass.
Don't get any ideas. I'm not going on.
Peluso, let me tell you, if we do a reunion where if Andy comes to Jersey and we all go to the park, your ass is going on that fucking ride. And I don't know how the fuck they're going to do it, but they're getting 4 of us on this motherfucker. So.
Well, Andy's so thin, he won't count as a person,
That's true, you thin bastard. That's true. Carousel, no changes. Everything looked exactly the same, was running fine. People seem to love it. And of course, you got to buy some used cars if you go to the carousel. So,
Yeah, what's with the used car lot? I mean, that's really
no fucking
terrible,
clue, dude. It really does. I know.
No, they did car sponsorships when we were still working.
They
I
did,
remember,
but they would
there
only
was
put like
one car.
One, yes, one.
Yes.
It didn't look like a used car dealership. Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah, maybe a raffle of some sort or something. But yeah, no.
I
Got a
will
lot
say,
going.
in a park where half the stuff I looked at clearly, and again, I think a
Holy
lot of this might
shit.
be due to COVID, okay? Where most of the stuff looked like it was falling the fuck apart and nobody was maintaining stuff. Yum Yum Palace is the cleanest I've ever seen it
looks
look.
identical.
And it's
Yeah.
Yum Yum Palace again.
Well, it does. And if you remember our last
it was
year
Character
when
Cafe
we would ride,
when we left.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
they
Yum Yum. It's
changed it.
Yum Yum again. And the other thing that I love is that they actually cleaned all this, because our last year in games, when we used to go on that fucking the Daredevil thing right next door, or the Sky Ride, I remember looking down in disgust at how black and gross this whole thing looked from up above. And now it actually looks yummy. It looks nice. They cleaned it up. They did a good job. So, I mean, power to them, and it's cool because this is all clean looking over at the carousel too. So, at least if you go this way, your impression isn't all that bad. I give them that,
My first day.
Yeah, that's right. You said that. I forgot.
My first day at Yum Yum.
We continue on some geek in a shared universe and some great adventures thing. Friend of Fountain, got to put in that promo stuff, and for Nirvana, because they're still big, right? They're still big, right? So
they're huge.
All right. Then I decide the last thing we're going to do is take the path of the Enterprise to Looping Starship, and we're going to go over to where the Cyborg ride is.
Wow.
There's your Enterprise, Peluso. It is literally the dirtiest looking gate you'll ever see, with a bunch of literally storage sheds that are being used.
Yeah. I like how the storage shed are kind of propped up so you can see them.
Yep.
They're so pretty.
Yep. And then if you go a little farther, ready? It's all gone. There's nothing there. There's nothing to the right. There's nothing to the left. Everything's gone. Bumper Cars is gone. Music Express is gone. Enterprise is gone. Looping Starship is gone. And this stuff looks like shit. You can see through here. Even the stuff here is falling apart. And it's like, this is literally where they just threw garbage. This is like a graveyard sitting right in the middle of the park.
Oh my God, Brian, where's the shuttle? Where's the center? What the hell happened, Brian?
It's all gone, bro. It's all gone. Now, I thought you guys would appreciate this. This is a 1996 map. Guess what the X's are?
Wow.
Everything that's gone, I X'd out from when we were there. There's only 15 rides left from 1996. Everything that from when we were there is pretty much gone. So if we do a walkthrough, kind of like what we did, almost everything is out of here, man. It's like, if we want to do it our way, Spinmeister gone, Music Express gone, Space Shuttle gone, Centrifuge
the whole section's gone.
All of Old Country is gone. Yeah, this is all gone. So, I mean, Movie Water Effects gone. Free Fall gone.
The Little Wheel?
Little Wheel gone. Phineas Fogg's Balloon Ride gone. Qzar gone. Knight's Realm is technically still there, but it's a different game, but gone. Jesus Christ. All of Adventure River is gone. Koala Canyon gone. Everything over here near Buccaneer gone. Adventure Theater, the ski show thing, the Independent Four, all gone. The entire thing for the Lethal Weapon stunt show, which, by the way, was new that year as well, along with Skull Mountain, gone. All that's gone. Flying Wave is technically gone, but it's got a super version, so good for them. Fancy Fling, gone. There is a roundup, though. There is a roundup. It's moved and it's over in, close to this area, but there is still a roundup. It's just called a different thing. Now here's a weird thing. So these 4 tents, which used to be like so packed, when I was a kid, this is where you went for AC and you loved it. I don't even think 2 of these were open. I think they were shut down. We were there. I don't think they were open at all. And this one, I think, had nothing but a little bit of arcade. The recording studio is long gone. Pretty sure this one was the only one still open. This Boardwalk Game Center one's the only one still open. That was a little bit of disappointment. The teacups are still here, but they're not here anymore. They're over near Fancy Forest now, but there is still an Enchanted Teacup ride. That's still there, so you got to give them credit for that. All of this shit is what I was talking about, which bummed me out, man. All this is gone. Old Timey Photo, Cactus Pete's Tattoos, Western Shirt, all this just gone. Everything here is gone. Casa de Taco you saw has changed. all of the Bugs Bunny Land things gone. Everything in here is gone. Scream Machine gone. Rolling Thunder gone. Viper gone. Yeah, it was a little heartbreaking. Super Teepee, Conestoga Wagon, Western Shootout, all gone.
You didn't X out the Northern Star Arena? I guess it was.
I didn't, because technically it's still there. Technically, it's completely in operable condition, but they just have it closed off. Now, here is one thing I will say as an observation. I will say that as far as shows goes, obviously my cousin was looking at show stuff because he was a former show supervisor, and we did not see a single show running. And I don't know if that's because in the world of COVID, they don't want to put people in a lot of places together. They just thought it was smarter to do that. So I'm not going to shit on that, because I mean, they could be taking precautions, right? But no arena type areas are running. We did not see a single show running. Now, there may have been shows at the PBL areas, but we didn't go to them, so we don't know. We did not see a single character in outfits at all, except as we were leaving, we saw one clown on stilts as we were walking out who was right near the fountain. Otherwise, no greeters.
And he probably only had one stilt.
Well, he had two, but he wasn't using the one. It was somewhere else.
But somebody here, Danny Benetti, said that they do 0 shows now. Don't blame COVID. Apparently that shows aren't.
I mean, I believe it, but I mean, yeah, that's a little bummer, you know. And Taluki, no, Batman and Robin did not make it. No, gone. Queenan says it right now. It's the first time since I was on screen share I couldn't see any of these comments. Yeah, Queenan, gone. Everything's gone.
Deja vu. Where's the Scrambler? Queenan saying the Scrambler's still around.
So he's actually right. Deja Vu is a renamed Scrambler, and it's over in the Adventure Alley, which is basically a Fantasy Forest type area. They broke the sections into some weird ass names because of the way that they made it so wide. So when there's like Fantasy Forest is technically Carousel is Fantasy Forest. Like, it's really weird. But they basically have like Fantasy Forest Lakefront, which is all the stuff like the Buccaneer. And then they also have like Adventure Alley, which is kind of like the other side of Fantasy Forest. So it was kind of weird. Like Big Wheel is Adventure Alley. So it's in that area. So it's kind of the breakup didn't make a lot of sense to me. And I have a map from 2 years ago, and I looked at that, and even that, like, it's because it hasn't changed much since then because of COVID. And I was like, none of this shit makes sense. I don't know. And it just goes back to what we were saying. They can't theme worth a shit. They never could, and they still can't. But you know, but yeah. So there's a current walkthrough, boys. How did you guys feel about seeing everything you loved gone?
Well, I have to say though, honestly though, Log Flume is still there, Mine Train is still there, Batman's still there, and Rapids is still there. So
yeah, no, I felt good about seeing Congo and Batman. Like, I was happy. A free fall, I didn't really like the ride. I liked working the ride because it was exciting because it broke down all the time. But it was kind of like 2 seconds of you feel like you might die, and that's not my type of ride, really. You know,
I could be wrong, but Chris, wasn't that considered at one point the worst free fall in the world, like the worst running free fall in the world when we left? I thought that it had the record for that.
It just had too many moving pieces. Everything took something. It was just ridiculous, you know. But it was exciting to work because it was breaking constantly, and you know. But yeah.
I mean, it's weird. I know I sound like I'm shitting on the park as I walk through it. And I'm really not, actually. I mean, I'm just shitting on my memories because my memories are gone. That's what kind of bums me out. So, you know, the park's doing what the park's got to do, and we're living the world of COVID. So a lot of it, I'm sure, you know, again, I can't compare. I don't know what the hell is different from COVID versus what's different from their vision. So I don't really know. I will say that I was a little disappointed, though, that it does not seem to have any outside contractors doing interesting things. So, like I said, like that whole area, when you walk into like the Western area where it had like the painted shirt barn, all that, there's none of that. Like, if I went there to buy merch, I'm not buying anything. Like, the merch shit was all the standard shit that I would never want to buy.
Most of that, was run on revenue splits. It really never cost the park all that much to bring some of that stuff in there.
That's what I always
just
thought.
Give them the space. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. And sell those friggin' pillows.
Right?
Yeah, and a Batman pillow. And yeah, Taluki, I agree. Like, free fall for me, it was all about working it. It wasn't so much going on. Batman was the overall experience. Loved working it, loved going on it, but free fall was all about working it. And Movie Town, come on. I mean, it was probably the smallest splashdown I've ever seen anywhere. Have you ever seen a smaller one? What was it, 30 feet? I don't even remember. I mean,
it's true.
You know.
I'm looking at the comments for the first time, and CJ Cohen, it's like the Griswolds parking now. It's fucking Wally World. It absolutely was Wally World, man. If there was a fucking moose, I would have punched it in the nose.
Exactly. First one's here.
Queen and Putter's gondola is missing, and I think he's right. When I looked at the big wheel, I'm like, am I getting old, or did they take cars out? They totally did, right? Which
there
is
was empty spaces,
clearly because people couldn't fucking counterweight the goddamn big wheel properly, right? I mean, I gotta think that's it. It's probably so much easier with half the cars, right?
Or they just, as the cars break, they don't fix them. They're just like, oh, we'll just.
Wait a second, nobody's going on this thing anymore. Why are we risking it?
They're scavenging from other cars.
I honestly think if you look at that big wheel picture, because the way they took like 2 from every section, it probably makes it so much fucking easier to operate that motherfucker and not unbalance.
It's definitely easier to start and stop it in the right place to get people off. Because, if you ever overshot the station, then you were screwed like that.
Exactly.
Out, and then they couldn't get unloaded. Yeah, that would definitely help with that.
Less weight, it may even stop. Like, even if it's unbalanced, you might actually be able to stop it. I mean, little wheel balloon ride, if it were ever unbalanced, it would usually, not be a problem. Fix it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, guys, that was a little, hopefully not sad. Hopefully that was an enjoyable walk through the park. Hopefully you guys weren't too sad.
Nah, that was fun, man. That was fun.
Hey, all my rides are still there. I'm happy.
The Buccaneers still going strong.
Dude, that Buccaneer was where it was at, man.
Man.
The Buccaneer did live, and I will say it's one of the few rides that when we went there, I'm like, and it was early, and it was packed. I was like, holy shit, look at the Buccaneer. Because remember, even during our time, the Buccaneer never was packed because there's so many other rides in between. There's not anymore.
I wish I would have asked you before you went to take a picture of the woman on the front of the Buccaneer. Like if
the big boob chick. All right, so anybody watching or listening, if you go to the park this year, please take a pic of the front of the Buccaneer. Let us know if the lady is still there.
Well, not just the lady.
Ridiculous.
Like I remember,
they may have covered her up.
I believe.
Oh my God! Can you imagine that as a broad it now? Oh,
yeah, class. That's class. That ride.
My second year, the mechanics, they put like red paint on the nipples.
I remember that.
Oh, I remember that. It's so
every
ridiculous.
time the boat would go back, I'd be like, nipples.
Oh my God. So ridiculous.
All right, on that note, Scotty.
That's right.
Well, gentlemen, it's crazy, man. We've literally been on for an hour and a half. Time just freaking flies. Holy cow. Thanks to everyone who joined us live on Facebook. Everyone that listens at home on the audio version, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Again, we get a lot of stories and a lot of photos from people after each episode because a lot of people, this stuff brings back good memories from everybody. Keep them coming. We love them. And if you're willing to let us share them, let us know. We always throw them up. Anyone that's willing to let us share pictures of the stuff we talk about, that's, we'll absolutely throw up on the Facebook page. That's about it, guys. All right, boys. Well, signing off for now. I've been Steve Hicks. My co-hosts are
Scott Buccaneer Loudon.
Nice. Chris Peluso.
And Andy Auletti.
All right, boys. Until next time, as always, make it a great day. Thanks, everybody. Bye, folks.
Thank you.
Arrivederci.
Goodbye.